Welcome back. What is the White House covering up today with what they're covering up? It's never ending, actually. So, clearly, for those who are not watching reality show TV on their news, for their news, like Fox, because they're just watching Fox, so they don't know what's really going on. So let them just watch Fox, and we love them. The White House cover-up clearly continues. The DOJ is playing a game of partly releasing the Epstein files. The subpoena for all the Epstein files last week, they were due on Wednesday, and this goes back at least a month when they were Congress asked for them. And then, just to update you quickly, as soon as Congress requested them legally by a subpoena, Donald Trump and Pam Bondi had Todd Blanche, his ex-defense attorney, criminal defense attorney, him and Alina Habba were both his criminal defense attorneys, and they didn't have very good, they didn't win for him, so I don't know why they're in there, but maybe they just know too much now about him. So yeah, Todd ran down to Tallahassee to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell, and they had the 2-day meeting. It lasted like 10 hours between Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell, and during that time she was granted immunity during that time so she could say the truth. Yeah. So she could say the truth. And first of all, he shouldn't have been the man sent down there. So they're covering up. I mean, he is the deputy of the DOJ now for the White House next to Pam Bondi. He's her second. So, but again, he still doesn't belong down there for many reasons. One of them is he wasn't the one that has access, or that Ghislaine Maxwell's calling all of the shots in the prison and in the White House of our free nation. Just going to pause on that. That's how corrupt this government is they're being run by a sex trafficker, a human sex trafficker. We become neutral to these words. It's disgusting. It shouldn't even exist. And now we have our government turned in on us, the United States, instead of continuing doing what they're supposed to be doing. Cracking trafficking rings, cracking drugs, anything that they usually do for our country, they're not. They're sitting on their ass on the streets with all these guns, getting paid a lot of money to do this, with these people with their egos that are just roughing people around, and if they don't, they probably get fired or something. And, hearing a Latina accent, throwing a Latina down in the ground, that's fucking absurd. Excuse my French, but that is fucking disgusting. How can you do that? That's like me throwing a woman or anyone down. Something's wrong with this situation. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so they're covering up. Everything's covering up. The releasing of the Epstein files, the full file must be released. They promised it for last Wednesday, the 20th. That night previous, the 19th, Todd Blanche, remember him? He wrote a letter on the letterhead saying he needs a few more days so the victims, to make sure the victims or anybody else doesn't get hurt from what they let out. They've never once spoken to the victims. They've never once apologized to the victims. They've never once helped the victims. They actually perpetuated it going on for more decades. The FBI, the police in Florida, Todd Blanche, and the attorneys that got Epstein off. So it perpetuated it more until 2019. So they're just covering up. So they said Friday the 22nd would be better last week, and August 22nd. And then we all know they're not releasing it. Someone has to release it, and it's not going to be our government, and it's not going to be Ghislaine Maxwell unless she gets pardoned by someone else other than our government. I don't know. Who would believe her? We need the files, whoever has them. So Friday comes. They're supposed to have a press release. The whole day's going by. I haven't heard anything. And then they have a press conference at the White House. They don't even talk about it. Trump's sitting at the desk with his big, stupid ass "I was right about everything" hat on, bloated out of the gazelle, eyes not even open, couldn't even see his eyes. And all he just keeps doing is he's talking to the FIFA guy. The FIFA guy came in and gifted him grifting. Anyway, back to Ghislaine Maxwell. So Friday, finally, a woman in white was asking questions at the press release. She's asked a question about the Epstein files, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't know anything about that. You know, I'm working all the time, so whoever takes care of that is taking care of it." And he snores back to sleep, kissing this guy's ass, laughing, ha 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 ha. So they never said anything. What did come out on Friday was partial statements from the 10-hour, 2-day interview with Ghislaine Maxwell last month with Todd Blanche, which basically said Donald Trump is golden, nothing to see here, folks. Everything you wanted, it's just not true. He's a good person. Something like that. This is coming from a pedophile or trafficker. She pedophiled, she trafficked, she was also the abuser in the victims also. Besides luring them in and brainwashing them, she actually physically was part of the sexual action with them too when they least expect it, crawl into their beds with them. Yeah, so, and other things that I won't say here. So this woman, in her 10 hours of talking to our deputy, DOJ, said that he's nothing she's ever seen him do. She doesn't even remember seeing him. It was a long time ago. And then she basically said the same thing about Bill Clinton. Epstein and Trump were best friends. There's tons of physical evidence and people and pictures that prove this for 10 to 15 years until their relationship broke up over a real estate deal down in Florida. So yeah, they both have great morals, don't you think? I think they both have great egos, and they think they could keep doing what they want to people. It's got to stop.